Alright everyone, so today I'm going to be doing a basic blessing of this room in this house. Now, what I'm going to be using is Himalayan pink salt, which I prefer to use for magical, procedures and ceremonies, or, blessings or clearings and things like that. But you can also use Morton's iodized salt, and sea salt is even better than Morton's salt. But that combined with turmeric root, which is used for basic blessings, it's a generally spiritual root that you can find in most grocery stores. Now I basically combined Himalayan pink salt and turmeric root and ground it up in this mortar and pestle. And it dries pretty quickly. It's starting to really become dry even after about 30 minutes. And what I'm going to be doing is putting this into this copper vessel, and also mixing it with purified water. Purified water being poured in first, actually. And I'm going to be dipping this this maraca that is kind of broken, but is still a tool that I've used in so many magical, ceremonies and also blessings and things like that, and clearings, that it has significant value to me personally. So I'm going to be dipping basically the end of this maraca into this vessel, and then scattering it across my room. Now, the reference point that I would recommend, and the one that I use quite often when it comes to herbs and plants in general, is Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. It's by Scott Cunningham. And this book is so great when it comes to identifying magical purposes and for plants and herbs and the like, for your own, magical practices or for your own spiritual practices, however you classify them. So let's go ahead and combine what I have in this mortar and pestle with the purified water. So I'm going to add the purified water first. And purified water is going to be poured into about, let's see how far it goes. Yeah, I can basically pour the whole bottle in there, and it's about at the right height for me to dip this maraca in there for the spreading of it. Now, I'm going to add this turmeric root and Himalayan pink salt combination. And you don't need a whole lot of it. I added about, a few pinches of pink salt and a small piece of turmeric root. And turmeric root is very citrusy. It's very vibrant and can be smelled easily. It feels like it just puts off this cleansing energy, and that's a combination of its magical purpose and its citrus side. But we're gonna get all of that in there. Now I'm gonna kind of shake it around a little bit, and I'm probably gonna let me stir it with this spoon so I can get it really mixed up. Purified water is pretty important when you're doing these things. Purified water doesn't have the let's say fluoride and far too recycled quality that water out of the tap might have. That's why it's good to have a purifier in a fridge that you have if possible, and get water from that, because there's a lot of impurities that tap water still has in it that isn't quite processed enough for us to really gain the full benefits of drinking water, I guess you could say. All the mineral benefits and all of the, purity benefits. But I'm just stirring this really good with a regular metal spoon in this copper vessel. Turmeric root, Himalayan pink salt, and that water. And I'm just stirring it and stirring it. And that was mixed once again in the mortar and pestle. I'm going to definitely clean this out afterwards. Clean it out real good, because you never want your mortar and pestle to have ingredients remaining in there to kind of add their own flavor to whatever you're doing in the future. You want it to be as complete in the ingredients that you want as possible. That's why it's good to clean your mortar and pestle pretty regularly. So I'm stirring this. Now I feel like it's pretty well stirred. And, this is kind of the color that you would expect from the combination of Himalayan pink salt and turmeric root. Turmeric root is very yellow. Now, what I'm going to do is dip this Macarena in there and fling it around my room, which I will record. But I will see you in just a second because this is not the proper angle for this. Om. 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 Alright, so blessing the room or the house that you're in. You know, you can do this throughout the whole house, but make sure to hit every single wall at least once with a few drips. Dip it in, hit it with a few drips. You can use your finger. You don't have to use a maraca. And, you don't necessarily have to use, Himalayan pink salt. Whatever you have, can work. And as long as you get, a few drops on each wall, many drops on the floor, probably, if we're going to count drops, probably around 20. And a little bit on the ceiling if possible, kind of fling it up with your finger if you want to use your finger. Closets are important. And mirrors are also important. Fling it up on mirrors if you want to bless your whole house. But when it comes down to it, get a feel for this combination. If this combination doesn't feel quite right to you, if you feel like this combination of ingredients isn't purifying, then don't use it again. But this for me it feels very purifying. I got some of it on my skin and it feels like there's just this negativity just coming off and it purifying, that negativity off. And, you can do it around your house in a circle as well. But, all the ingredients really necessary are, regular salt is fine, but sea salt is also easy to find, so I get that. I get turmeric. And you don't have to use a mortar and pestle. You can use a bowl and grind it with whatever you have that can, grind into the bowl. And let it dry for a little while, and then add that in whatever vessel you want to use with purified water. And stir it around like I did, and then spread it around. And I've never used turmeric root before. I've used Himalayan pink salt for clearings and blessings and things like that and purifications. But using turmeric root, it feels very, very liberating. It feels very purifying. So I highly recommend it. This is the first time I used it, and I love it. I can tell right now that I love it. And hey, Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions about, this blessing or this clearing or this purification, whatever you want to call it, feel free to ask in the comment section below. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up down there. I'd really appreciate it. It helps the channel. And I will see all of you in the future. Y'all have a great one, and may y'all be blessed.